Netcraft and look at the statistics that they produce. They produce a very simple statistic. They have a very interesting service called What's That Site Running? When you type in, say, your college website into that, you will realize that your college is running a server which is a Windows-based server. Or you may realize that your college is running a server which is a Unix-based server. When you come across Unix or Linux or BSD, most of the time they are referring to the free versions which are available out there, the free software which is available out there, which is why we have a figure of 70% of the world is dominated by free and open source software. Okay, some of the good reasons for using free and open source software. It's robust and stable. I'm going to give you a couple of little side stories out here. I run a small consulting business. And as part of my business, what I do is I set up servers for people. 8 years ago, I set up a server for a company called AMP, AMP. AMP you may not know of other than the fact that you see these little connectors that you use for networks, or you see the connectors on your motherboard, they either say Molex or they say AMP. AMP is the company that makes those little products. They used to also make cables. They were in big competition with Lucent or Tata Vaya or whatever name you know them by. But they make these little components which go into the motherboard as connectors, which go into your network as connectors, inside your laptop where there is an Ethernet connector. Very often it is made by this company called AMP. I set up a server for them in their Bangalore office. Their Bangalore office had a serious space constraint. So the server was set up and it was put into the jhadu cupboard. You know the jhadu? Broom? It's a little broom closet under the stairs where Harry Potter lives. They put the computer out there because there was no other place for it. The computer was there, it worked, it provided people with files, it provided people with internet access, it provided people with email, all kinds of little functions that computer was serving. One fine day, it stopped working. This is about 5 years later. So, people said, where is this server? They looked in the server room, they didn't find it there. They looked all over the office, they did not find that server. Suddenly somebody from 5 years ago remembered, we didn't have space in our office when this server was set up. I think it's under the stairs in the little broom closet that we have out there. And they opened that and they found the server sitting there. And the only reason that it was not working was the sweeper who came by. After sweeping, he pulled the cable out. So the machine was not on the network. 5 years, the machine had not been rebooted. It just continued working. It did not require a restart. It's not every time I change a little bit of something, reboot or reformat. Sounds familiar?
Yeah.
There's only two solutions. You either reboot or you reformat. I had nothing of that sort. It's very bad business for me because I set up one server once and then I never have to go back again. But it's okay. I can live with that. It's very powerful. It's very powerful because you can do a lot of things with it. A simple installation of Linux can provide you from everything from a firewall to a database server to an application server to a simulation server. Absolutely whatever you want to run out of it, you can run out of that one single instance. This man sitting up in front who's trying to mimic my beard, he's not yet there, he sets up servers in Kolkata which are very, very powerful library servers. He uses free and open source software. Some of the universities in Kolkata are running their entire libraries based on software which has been set up by this person sitting here. He also runs a very, very interesting network management and inventory control system also based out of Linux. It goes onto your network, it finds all the computers there, it finds what is installed on all of them, it collates all of that, puts it back into a database, provides that to your system administrators as a help desk tool, as something that they can go and look at and say, oh, this guy's got a problem, or that guy's running a pirated software, I can catch the guy like that. This is the kind of power that we're talking about. I don't have to, for every single thing, buy more and more software. Do you know what the software license cost is for a small company? And if you try and spend that across your university, even at the ridiculously low prices that you get, do you have any idea of how much the software license would cost? How many people do you think there are in the room today? About, say, 70? So for 70 people, we would be talking about 35 lakhs. 35 lakhs worth of software licenses. Do you know what a software license is? It's a piece of paper which says, you are allowed to use this piece of software under the conditions that I dictate, subject to change. I can change those at any point of time, and you can do nothing about it. You do not own that piece of software, and therefore you cannot show it to anybody else. You cannot share it with anyone. You cannot make modifications to it. Imagine, we'd be eating Maggi or ramen noodles without it being a soup, because we can't make modifications to it. What would be the point? I mean, if I can't add a little bit of extra, red chili powder to it to spice it up a bit, or, add a little bit of ketchup to make it sweet, it would be completely pointless. I can do all that. I can do all that because Gaurav has shared his recipe with us. It's now an open source recipe, and everyone can make modifications to it. Okay, I think we covered extremely flexible, well supported. Okay. This is a problem when you talk about free and open source software. There is no company that is actually involved in delivering the software to you. It is people like you and me who create the software. Tomorrow, if you decide to sit down and start writing code and release it as open source, it'll become, who knows, it'll become the next desktop, it'll become the next piece of software which is adopted by everyone in the world. It's possible. Who do I hold responsible and who do I hold accountable when I buy or when I get this free software, since I can't buy it? Who do I hold responsible? I can't hold anyone responsible. And this is the reason that institutes, organizations and companies, corporates, tend to shy away from using free software. At the same time, however, I don't know if any of you have ever tried this. Have you ever tried getting support from a proprietary software vendor? I'd like to hear that story someday. Okay.